Hello Sagittarius, welcome back. We are here on this early Perth morning. I'm like trying to get back to you guys. Okay, we are going to cover the astrology for you guys, and I actually managed to do a bit more work on the last few zodiac signs, and I'm trying to reformat things, so I probably don't look fantastic, but we're here to do your report. Now, I'm going to tell you particular days as well as the crystal that you've got for this month is Tourmaline. And it does make sense because you do have, for the full moon in Scorpio on the 7th, you do have your 12th house placement. Now with 12th house, it can come to a place where, although we're having a full moon, it is to a degree a purge, but it's also a release, and there can be psychology connected to it. So when it does come to your home and your mindset and the way you're seeing things, especially since the moon energy very much links into Cancer as well, it's falling in your 8th house, which is very Pluto. Now, what I'm getting from this is for you guys, you may feel you're looking at different things and you're tapping into your psyche. You really do need to let some of the spiritual belief systems go. So it may be something to the degree, hi Dale, I don't look too fat, but we're here to do the read for Sag. So at a psychological level, you may be actually tuning in, and 8th house can also be wills, inheritance and things to that degree, mindsets and conditioning, potentially your family placed upon you. That can be coming up as long as you keep grounded. Really, with the full moon in Scorpio, because it is very dig down, dig deep, it's a perfect time to do some house clearing. So especially with the 12th house, I do feel with the Tourmaline for you guys on May the 7th, be prepared, be aware, keep grounded. It could tap into your psyche. So on that date, stay grounded. On the 10th, we've got the Sun sextiling Neptune. For you guys around that time, you do have a lot of health placements here. And again, Aries actually is the energy of your 6th house. So it does make sense. And for the next 8 years, you guys are really going to be looking at your routine. You're going to be looking at your health. And that will be the only thing that will hold you back. You know, that house placement especially really does ask you to have a look at your day-to-day routine, have a look at your diet, and, you know, fine-tune those things. So it will be a perfect time on the 10th to actually be able to look both at your emotions linking with food, your emotions linking with routine, and maybe even getting to the root cause of some of the things that's going on, potentially with your likes, dislikes, and the things you're wanting to build. So if you're planning on launching a business or something to that degree, because we do have so many retrogrades this month, it is a very psychological energy. It's a very meditated state, and it's not saying don't move forward, but you can tend to find during this month you will have a lot of things kind of coming up out of left field. And there are some squares this month, which does mean complications, difficulty, integration needed. Let's place it that way. So with the energy of Taurus and Pisces, which is very Neptunian, very dreamlike, if you're wanting to get to that A game where you're wanting to be, it will be a perfect opportunity on the 10th. You also do have Mercury trining Jupiter. And again, it does fall in your 1st house. And anything, again, that you're wanting to, in this pocket of time on the 10th is going to be a great time to meditate, great time to gain some clarity into whether your diet needs changing, what you're going to do to level up. If there's a health issue and it's coming from an emotional pain body experience, you know, really taking a grip on it and having a look at that energy and seeing what you can physically do. If it is something that you're wanting to achieve and attain, because Taurus is a very Venus-orientated sign, it may be assets, it might be nice things, it may be homes, cars, you know, because it's all the finer things in life, it's the luxuries, it's what you're moving towards. Can even be new employment. Really looking at that and coming back to yourself and saying, okay, what would suit for me? What works best for me? Is the current or previous employment I was in, i.e., suitable for me? Does it resonate with me any longer, or do I need to actually, you know, branch out and look at things differently? But you guys are really going to be going through a 2.5 year transformation because the nodes are going to be in your zodiac sign. So you do need to go gentle on yourself. You also do need to be mindful that this is a brand new you who's going to be evolving. It's a very unique time, as well as the placement for you guys. 12th house, when we do look at it, it's almost like you're the geriatric of the zodiac in that point. So it can be the house of the undoing, but it also can be the spiritual energy where you really tap into everything you've learned in your lifetime. You really can look at the adversity you dealt with. You can go into your core sense, and all of those wounds can actually serve a purpose, and you can directly place them into something healthy. You do have to be cautious because the scorpionic energy is bringing that up, and we did have that around 2017-18. Themes of both Pisces and Scorpio were very, very heavy, so it can be a revisit to that energy. You just need to move through it and tap into what's going on, and it is going to cause a bit of change in you, but it's also going to give you some benefits at the same time. Mercury is then going to be entering into Gemini, which again is your Aries and Chiron placement. So around the 11th, try and stay grounded. If something triggers you, get to a place where you understand and you link back to where it's coming from. And that way it's actually going to help you manage that frequency. At the same time, with the 6th house placement of health, your health and the energy of the movement is going to be changing. Let me see what else I'm picking up from that. I really do feel between the 7th and the 11th, there's going to be revelations. There's going to be a lot more understanding. But it is looking positive. It's looking positive to the point that you're going to really be able to key point some of the things that really aren't working for you. Now, on the 11th, we have Mercury squaring Mars, and Mars at that point is still in Aquarius. So again, whenever you're seeing Aquarian aspects in your astrology, you need to be paying very close attention to it, because a lot of the themes with Saturn retrograde this month is going to give us pocket views of what's coming up in our frequency. And when I say that, we did have Saturn. Let me check. Saturn was in your 2nd house. Now, it's retrograding in your 3rd house of communication, throat chakra, again, speaking your truth, networking. So, the 3rd house can be your day-to-day routine, short journeys. It's for employment and networking and selling yourself and things to that degree is a real positive energy. So what you're going to find is it's moved away from your 2nd house and it's visiting your 3rd house. So you will see stark differences as to what the themes are. Now, whatever you feel wasn't working previously where it was placed in Capricorn, you're going to see the differences. So if you're guided to actually make some major decisions, use the time during the retrograde to note these things. It may be more difficult to implement brand new plans, especially soon as we are in Venus retrograde with Gemini. Now, Venus will be going retrograde, what date is it? On the 13th. So yeah, around this time that I'm mentioning the squaring aspects. So with Venus going retrograde, it will already be in shadow. So it's more, if you meet somebody new, for instance, be open to the experience. Everything comes into our ethers for a direct reason. But try not to have too much fixation on this is going to be a bed of roses forever. Experience the energy. Don't overcommit. And wait for after the retrograde to really make a cemented decision, because you tend to get the very rose-colored glass energy, the very not so sure, and at the end of it you may be undecided. Now, when it does come to X's, it actually bodes a little bit better on the X front because it is energies of that are unfinished. So if a connection you feel at a spiritual level has not been finished, there is a large potential that these people can come back for that to be recommitted to, for you to work through that adversity and to try and balance it out and correct it. Now, with Mercury squaring Mars, it does link into your marriages, contracts, partnerships. It's also in the communication house. Do be mindful. It's usually a time with the squaring aspect that it's integration. So it can feel a little bit complicated on that day, on the 11th. You may find that old wounds can come up, but you're going to get a benefit out of it if you work through the energy. So when it does relate to your work, any connections you have, family-related dynamics, use that day to be very patient with the situation and know that something good is going to come out of it. But potentially, yes, it can link into your wounds with your 5th house, which 5th house is your romance. It can be children-related dynamics. It can be conflict of differing views and things to that degree. It's also the house of luck. So, try not to get too down on yourself during that time. It is a phase. You're going to learn something out of it and keep moving through that experience. On the 12th, we have Mercury trining Saturn. It's your 7th and your 3rd house. Again, it's a positive energy, and communications are key when it does come to contracts, when it does come to, your hobbies and linking with your friends. You may find you're more social at a verbal level. You're getting phone calls from friends and things to that degree. It's also a very good time to network. You tend to find it's more beneficial. So if you're needing to do anything paperwork related, especially because it's linked in, with government bodies, Saturn and Mercury, communication and technology, this would be a day that would be quite beneficial to achieve those things. On the 13th, we do have, for you guys and everyone, Mars moving into Pisces, and it does fall in your psychological house, which is not fun, might I add. Good in a way because it is in the whole zodiac sign, the 12th house. So on this day, you may find you have very interesting dreams. You may feel a little bit more unsettled because it is a dream house. It's very Neptunian with the Pisces energy. So it can take on 2 frequencies. I also feel with that, tap into your day-to-day routine. You usually find it's your direct routine that you're battling with. There's something at home not quite settled, not quite working for you, but there could be something at a psychological level coming up. Could be a bit of feng shui going on. Again, we have Tomboline for you guys for this month, so just pay attention to that. On the 14th, we have Mars squaring the 9s, and again, it is your 4th house placement, and it's the 7th and the 1st. So with that, what I'm feeling is home-related dynamics, day-to-day routine, organisation is going to be quite important. It is a good aspect. You may find actual solutions for situations. So if you're moving something around and you're actually becoming a little bit more organised with your routine, you'll find it'll probably flow a little bit better from there. On the 15th, we have Mercury sextiling Chiron. Interesting placement. Now, Mercury will be in Gemini by this point, and it is in your relationships, your romance and children. So working through conflict with family, working through conflict with work, working beyond the wound, and being able to achieve some really good things. There could be something that happened to you in the past that you're able to apply on that day, and you may find you're really going to get the benefit out of it. You'll also maybe be communicating with like-minded individuals and find that you actually have a light bulb moment during that day. On the 17th, we have the Sun trining Jupiter. For you guys, it's, again, the 6th house. So in a sense, if you're not wanting to bulk up, Jupiter is the energy of growth. Now, this is both positive and negative, depending on how you want to place it. It can be where we go overboard because it is Jupiter energy. So I'm reading it 2 ways. This is what I'm energetically seeing. If you have something that you really like doing, because the 6th house is work environment, habit, routine, and health. Now, it's Jupiter, which is growth. You can move beyond that point because it does fall in the house of Taurus for you guys. Look at that and bear that in mind. It's you yourself, how you're showing yourself to the world, how people are seeing you, what you physically can do. It's also your spiritual beliefs, your emotions, fine-tuning them, travel. Your communication house is also activated. So I am feeling if you're wanting to network on this day, it's a great day for networking. If you're wanting to actually, advance your career, upskill and things to that degree, it's very beneficial for that. But it is a choice energy. So it's 50-50, but it is positively aspected on the 17th. On the 16th, we have Mercury sextiling Lilith, and Lilith is in Aries. So again, as I mentioned, when it comes to your luck and your children and things to that degree, there is inner child wounds for you. So looking at that, your belief systems, your paradigms, it's sextiling. Shadow energy is part of us. Knowing what it is and operating regardless, but being open to others' views without us needing to micromanage the direct environment. That's where we really want to get to with our wounds, is that we can come to a peaceful place with it so that we're able to live in that direct environment without it triggering us. I do feel this is a very beneficial day, and I do feel if you can face your fears, you're going to be able to achieve really wonderful things on this day. On the 20th, the Sun enters Gemini. This falls in your 7th house. And I do feel this is very beneficial, but you are going to need to be quite flexible with love interests, with people. It can be socialization. It can also be hearing from people from the past. But again, it is very much a Mercury-orientated sign. So it's quite unique that we have Venus in this placement. It's quite airy-fairy and likes to socialize. So, just if that's something coming up in you and you're looking at how you have been linking into connections, you may start having light bulb moments of, who this version of you is. And potentially, sometimes we can be in relationships and connections and almost be remolding ourselves so we actually fit the glove of that direct person. But when we're really coming back to ourselves, we see is that you can only really do that for so long, and then it can cause some resentment and bitterness. Really, during Venus retrograde, it's time to actually communicate those things, maybe in a more positive way and a healthy way, but really linking in with who you are at this point in time. On the 22nd, we have the Sun trining Saturn. This also is stating the same thing. Let me have a look. Okay. Now, the new moon in Gemini, we are going to be having Pluto retrograde. So during the new moon cycle, what you may find is, again, there's old paperwork, there's old belief systems. The 8th house is very much a house where it's life, death, money, legacies, wills, the ability to rebuild. It's very Mars and Pluto energy, but it's the house where you're non-codependent. So if you're looking at your finances and things to agree on this day, you're going to really look at it, and it's going to be for the energy of the bigger picture. Are you wanting to be more social? What are the nice things you're wanting to have? Your pastimes and things to that degree. It can be hobbies, really looking at your money in this area. So some of these areas can be highlighted during that time. I'm not finding it to be negative. I feel that you guys are going to be very quite strict on yourselves. The Gemini energy may really tap into you and to make you a little bit lighter, and you may feel more romantically inclined or generous. But just really keep coming back to self during this month and do the reflection inside and the throat chakra communication. On the 22nd, Mercury is in conjunction with Venus. And again, it is quite a beneficial time on the 22nd. You do tend to find when we're having conjunctions, while they're in Venus signs and Sun, it's very balanced. When it's more in the Mars, Saturn, or the Moon energy, it can be more negatively aspected. So this is a very good possibility for your luck house, for your finances. This can also be a good time on hunch energy, but be cautious with that. But at a financial level, maybe even from the 20th moving into that energy, you'll start feeling that frequency. There can be a 3 to 4 pocket day where this is really your luck zone with your finances. Then we move to the energy of the 22nd. Well, it's still the 22nd. On that same day, we do have Mercury squaring Neptune. So at a psychological level, there can be some differing views as to what you want the home to be, how you want it to be, what you think your routine is. There might be clashes in your routine with schedule and subject matters of that, especially if you're trying to move towards a dream. Yes, there may be some blockages. There's luck when it does come to romance and finances, but it could be a time when you feel a little bit frustrated or disillusioned. But there is going to be lessons there, but it's not negative. It's just be patient with that frequency. We're going to have Mars sextiling Uranus, which is your 4th and your 6th house. That is on the 25th. Let me have a look what I'm picking up here. Okay. Again, it's positive because it's sextiling. Pay attention to your routine, your employment, your work, where you feel your luck is. And even if you're pessimistic about your home environment, what's happening, you're going to start seeing a shift in that environment. Now, 4th house placement is difficult and Pisces energy is difficult too. But I do feel this is a very psychic energy. So if you have some intuition about some grand ideas, this is a real perfect time to actually use your throat chakra. If you're at work or you have a business idea or you have an idea in general, you may make some changes pertaining to it. And it might look really obscure, especially with all this Aquarius energy we're moving through. We can actually start accidentally becoming quite unique in our own vibration where we don't fit the norm, but it crazily works anyway. So trust your hunches, but sit with that energy and tune into what you think it may be. Now, when it does come to your employment, any connections you're contracting in with, on the 26th of May, we do have Libra currently in Juno. Now, it is a Venus sign. It does link into marriages, contracts, partnerships at a collective level. It will be going direct on the 26th. So this will be a time where some of those areas in your life, and again, it does fall in your finance house, this will be a time when your interconnections, and very much with all the Gemini energy, the communication, keep your communication channel open. You know, try not to get frustrated. Also know that this is very beneficial and you will start seeing the direct implementation of what you need to change in order to attract that. Now, when we have 11th house placement and 5th house placement, it is very beneficial. So the changes you make in the next few years and moving forward, they will benefit you because they fall in your 5th house. And we do have the Uranian energy in Taurus in your 5th house. So it is the house of sort of lordship. It's the house, this fly's bothering me, of luck, romance, children. If you're not wanting to have kids, do be very careful because with that aspect, yes, it can bring extra children. Now, the sun on the 29th will be sextiling Chiron. Be mindful of your 5th house. Remember, don't stand in your way when it comes to luck. With your romance and your spiritual belief systems, again, sun energy can be egoic, but it's directly what we do. Your actions will come down to you. If you do the right thing, you're going to get the best out of that day. And I do feel it will benefit you. So what you're fighting for will actually come full circle. Deal with the energy, be in awareness of the wound. But it's sextiling, so it's not saying something negative. It's saying providing you live in that awareness that your idea, your theory, what you're doing is going to fail. That's really negative self-talk. Look at it, be very rational about it and see how you're feeling. But sextiling is very positive in a sense. On the 29th of May, we have Mercury in conjunction with the nodes. Let me have a look. Again, it is appearing to be very positive. So I do feel by the end of the month, you guys are going to have a complete understanding as to where you want to go and how. And, we've moved into the frequency of the new nodal shift. Now, the nodes were shifting on the 5th. We're moving away from Cancer, Capricorn. You still can get some things coming up, especially at the Scorpion moon and the new moon in Gemini, because it still takes on the aspect of moon energy, which is Cancer. And for you guys, that falls in your 8th house again, very Pluto energy, Pluto and Mars energy. So if you're having hunches about, what's really not working, where things aren't, quite cemented, Pluto can bring those things, and I'd say it's more going to be around the moon energies, and it can be 1 to 2 days. Now, I have got these videos done quite late. I really apologise, but I'm hoping I've given you guys enough time. So it can be probably from now all the way to the 7th of May. And then in between the new moon in Gemini, you may feel the energy leading into that. What else am I saying for you? At a financial level, I do feel you've got to really look at, there's health-related dynamics coming up. Very much, if you're needing to communicate, I feel you're doing something in a sense for other people. And I'm feeling a lot of gut energy. Now, the stomach sort of feels a little bit off. It can be a little bit of nervous frequency. And again, because you do have the placements of Aries in your 5th house, you may be giving, and it may be actually you're really in a deep meditated state at a psychological level. But again, I don't feel it to be bad. I just feel you guys could be actually wearing yourself down to a degree. So, don't be beating yourself up. Take it easy this month, and we'll see too many. We'll see what's coming up for you. Or maybe not. I did wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I can't be doing videos at 2 o'clock in the morning with everyone sleeping. Now, if I had the office over the other side, yes. Yeah, you got strength is your crowning energy, which is sun energy. And the sun for you guys. Let me look. Mega memory. I'm still here. I'm reading the chart. Okay, the sun will enter Gemini on the 20th. So again, at a social level, initially it will be very much meditating upon more the Taurian aspects, which will be, your health, your routine, your work, leveling up. It's very Aries energy regardless, so it is taking on an aspect of Aries and Chiron. This is very beneficial for you guys. It's looking good. You guys are about to really shift it up a notch. So very excited. You're going to have your swag on. Let me have a look. The 5th house for you guys, 6. Yeah, well, wow, that's a long time because the Uranian energy is going to be the Taurus in your 5th house placement. So any changes you're making, you're going to be like a magazine. I mean, geez, the change. It's really level up energy. I do feel you guys really have been leveled up. I just feel at an empathic level. You've just got to really, spiritually watch yourself around the full moon in Scorpio because it is very Pluto. It will link in with your 8th house. Look at those things. It's let go. Some of you may have assets and things to the degree that we're so old, and they're maybe linking in with other people, and maybe you come to a very spiritual place and you want to sit with that energy and release it. You are going to move through in strength energy. You're also going to be looking at your finances. You're really wanting a leveled up person. You're wanting team orientation. I also do feel, I just keep hearing this nursery rhyme. What's it? I've got to get this. It keeps coming up every time I'm coming on YouTube. It's, putting your finger into the pie and pulling a plum on your finger. I'm seeing this kind of nursery rhyme popping up in my head. I don't know why. It's like leveling up. Let's just say it's leveling up and moving to the point where you're moving forward. Now, there is a female energy, or it's directly you. And again, integration of feminine energy is our intuition. So be it you're a man or a woman, it's the empath energy. It's the direct intuition of how you're feeling. Pentacles is the finances. It's, again, the 8th house placement with the Scorpion moon. It's very the non-codependent house, but where you can level up, you really want to have a partner who's equal. You're really wanting to connect in with like-minded individuals who are going to let you break that glass ceiling. You are on the precipice of making major changes. At the heart of it, it's very Gemini energy, right? You got the 2 of Wands. You're making big plans. You're actually getting to the root cause. You're making major decisions in your life. The moon energy is very reflective at the back. And again, having the full moon, I feel at the back, leaving the old behind, being aware of your crown download, your 12th house, about what you need to let go of, which this makes sense for the Scorpio moon. Yep. Okay. I think you guys are trying to hold on to what you have. You're being, you are making plans, and I still feel it's almost like you're reflecting to the future and you're looking at it and going, oh, you potentially may see some obstacles, some things that may come up. You may be also using some of the old energy, which is very the Scorpion energy, digging in and looking back in your resource counter of, what worked in the past versus what doesn't now. There also could be a person that really is very codependent. Maybe not due to having, it can be due to having to be. Maybe due to the fact, and this can come across as a very karmic orientated energy. This could even have been you at some point, where you're being strict on yourself, because Sagittarius, you guys are way too strict on yourselves. The foundation may be, at a time, there were things that just went pear-shaped. Again, with the Scorpio moon in the 8th house placement, somebody might have passed. That directly could have caused that conflict, and I feel it's an older energy, not a newer. So I'm not trying to offend or trigger anyone. And from that, it transformed you, and this is where you're culminating it together. You're coming to terms with that, and it was due to that. So don't be hard on yourself. It is what it is. Also, you really were trying to be everything to everyone, and you're only one person. This is where this brand new beginning comes from, but it all starts right here, right now. Moving forward, I feel you're just accepting of that. You're coming to a point, you're accepting it. It's not your, it was what it was. Let's just leave it at that. It was what it was. Not, if there's something you can get out of that at an emotional, spiritual level, do such. Some of you are wanting more clarity. Some of you feel something was still hidden from you. And again, we can get into that mindset, and some of these things can be revealed around the Scorpio moon or a week after, and my ears just started ringing. Yeah, that you feel that something was hidden. Something wasn't completely, in the open for you. Yeah, I know. I was awake at 2 in the morning. I'm telling you. These ascension symptoms are doing my head in. Yeah, try not to focus on this shadow energy. Do remember we've got like Lilith and Aries, so plus the Scorpion moon. There's conflict there. Let it be in the past, right? Let it be in the past. Universe does always sort these things. Trust that process. What is the outcome of that past process? Yeah, just focus on your heart's desires. Universe is going to give you what you deserve. If there's something, be patient, be who you are. It's not about you. It's not a personal thing. This is a divine timing energy. It is going to sort out. And it will be your heart's desires what the outcome is. Right, let's get on to romance. Okay, oh God. You could be in a very, what you want and you're getting it. There also could be a person who is maybe in a bit of the Queen of Swords energy. I feel it's your energy though. You're very assertive. I feel you're moving into the month of May very assertive. There's a difference between being assertive and being triggered. Okay, keep that. We've all been there. It's like, because when we feel like someone has it in for us, or that maybe someone's, again, Scorpion paranoia energy, because they're the detectives of the Zodiac, right? You're following your hunch and you're trying to cut through the BS. If you have an issue with someone, I feel you guys are to the point you'll just, right, we're going to address this now. That's sort of what's coming through. There's something you're going to address. There also may be This is a really unique month. Some of the messages I get, you're focused on your side of the fence, and I'm getting this message coming through. Oh, I don't like it. Okay, there is somebody that is impressed by you, but you do not know this. This is an observer. This is not connected to your path or your romantic interest. This is a separate person. I don't feel they mean any harm. I think they're just quite impressed by you. They do find you quite amusing. They're wondering if you're happy. Be careful, we're at Venus retrograde, guys. Okay, there is somebody, I think he might have talked to them. This could be a person of the opposite sex, or, you know, however it goes. It's somebody who is in your love interest. I don't feel they have negative intentions. I feel they really have a lot in common with you. You're none the wiser. I mean, they're sitting there going, I think you're cool, but what are you going to do? So I feel they have no intent to do any shade. This does not feel their personality whatsoever. They also feel that they know where your path is, but they're letting you do what you need to do. They're just stepping back. So this could be a friend, but and they are reacting that way. So whomever this person is, be it they do have feelings, they're very Empress energy. They're not toxic people, okay? They're very Emperor or Empress energy. They're coming through very respectful, that they're hearing you out, and they're watching you go through a spiritual transformation. They do find you very amusing. They're like, gee, you're going about this the long way, but that's okay. If that works for you, that's fine. You're trying to avoid an ending about something, but it can be a spiritual, emotional energy. Yeah, they're like, because when you're triggered, it can come across like you're triggered. You are gonna have this new beginning, but again, I keep getting this card as the foundation, the garden and the gate. You are gonna have a success, but while you've got all these energies going on in your life of all these changes, I do completely understand. Okay, how does this love interest feel about you, and not the person who's supporting you? Okay, because they're standing their ground. They're like, look, I'm going to wait and see if Sage over here has come to terms with whatever's going on up in the hood there. Yeah, I don't feel they're silly. Okay, this, now again, I was saying, well, maybe. Okay, whoever you're focused on, I think you guys have a bit of two interests going on. This has been coming up all bloody month, maybe because of the Gemini energy. There's an Emperor here. Now, I just mentioned this person is reacting like the Emperor. This could be somebody at work, or it could just be your very... Oh, God. You know, sometimes you guys are, because you're Jupiter energy, you're like, yes, let's go, let's get the show on the road. Very work-orientated. It's like, you know, you're more than work, guys. You can bring growth in various areas of connections. You potentially could be moving to a very large position. This person also could be looking at such. You could also, another energy coming through. Okay, with the Emperor, in the background, yes, in the past, maybe this was a toxic situation. Maybe it wasn't so balanced and healthy. Maybe, and in general, fourth house placement is very much, let's see if we can level this energy up. Let's see if we can get this to where it needs to be. Now, there is sort of like a bit of a change going on with this maturity. It's transforming, and the give and take at the heart of it, you know, it needs to kind of equal out. There is going to be... There is going to be a celebration, and there are, I don't know. We've got the Three of Cups here. I feel it's on the date of a birthday, an anniversary, or something to that degree. They're making reference to. It also can be three major areas in your life you're wanting to change, but this could be... Oh. If you guys forgot their birthday, oh. Anyone in the house that wants to clarify? I'm seeing they're saying it is changing, but there could potentially be some conversations of how to have this new beginning, what that new beginning is going to be. Yeah, because if somebody forgot somebody's birthday, somebody ain't happy about that. I'll be surprised if it's Sagittarius. Yeah, no, possibly. There has been something was like, hey, hang on a minute, you know, you find your better roses, then what about X, Y, and Z sort of energy? Fair enough. I've got to get that nursery rhyme. It keeps coming up. Something sitting on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. I'm seeing this energy all month. It's, yeah, reap what you sow energy. It's like sitting there almost waiting for the universe to make these decisions. I feel this is the other person, Sag, potentially. Can swap. Yeah, ignoring circumstances, waiting for the thing to change. Sitting pretty, out of balance. Yeah, just waiting there. Somebody in this connection has done more work than the other. Somebody potentially could be a little bit... there could be ego. But maybe somebody has already leveled up and you're waiting for this other person to kind of, hey, over here. But there could be a codependent energy in the mix because I'm seeing behind the Emperor, there are the two kind of Capricorn energies, which I'm not saying Capricorns are devils. There you go. Oh, if you had seen my weekend, I burnt my hand. Oh, okay, let's start from the beginning. Libras, okay, I just have to say, I listened to something the other day, and Saturn retrograde is about bones. Right. Bones and teeth. I moved a coffee table, and the location I placed it to was because I was moving something else, and that was, I think, on Thursday or Friday. And I remember, mental note to yourself, must move that table. No, I tripped over the table. That was the first accident. The next one was I burnt my hand with oil because my daughter was whinging she wanted crisps. So I did homemade ones and burnt my hand with oil. Yeah, really. And then the next one, I went outside, couldn't sleep. I then got stung by a bee, which at a spiritual level apparently is really good. Apart from the fact that people that are allergic can pass, you know, let's just not look at that aspect. So my finger, and it was the naughty finger too. And then I dropped a brick on my foot and almost broke. So my twin's been laughing at me all weekend. I'm like, oh. Yeah, I've still got a bandage on my foot. I literally couldn't walk on it, so he was teasing me walking and hobbling. He's like, oh, poor baby. Okay. Okay. There may be distance. Now, there's a few messages coming through. Now, the Nine of Cups has come through. If you are away from this person, the woman appears on the card. It's a bit like the world, the wheel in the background. You know, emotional, waiting, feeling like you're in a fishbowl, can't go anywhere. Is any movement going to happen? You know, Nine is a deeply healing place. It's also maybe you're paying attention too much on time. Let go of time. Nine is a healing, meditation, hermit energy. Also, you know, you're going to have victory. Some of you could be purging the fact that, you know, however this lands, this is the romance section. This can be the cross watcher or Sagittarius. There is this frustration that you have the best of intentions, right? You legit, you have a heart of gold. You don't spend all the gold. You know, you're feeling spent because you're in the Nine energy, but you do have a heart of gold. You are that gold. Yeah. Remove the temptation. Remove the toxicity. You got a lot of 6th house placement. If you guys are being hard on yourselves and you're feeling that you're not good enough, please do not do that, because it is not true. It's all self-talk. It's not real. Okay, you feel this person hasn't valued you, but they're moving through as the Emperor and the Empress. So what you're seeing is this transformation. Move through this energy this month and see how it goes, and I have to do the next update. Okay, what is the advice? And then I'll have to go because I need to do the other ones. Okay, so I told you, stop looking at time. You're looking at time, but there's something fast-paced coming in. You do have too much crap on your plate at the moment. This is going to be a really unique month. It's going to be both light and dark. You do need to be mindful of the dates I mentioned at the beginning of the video. They're going to help guide you through this month to cope with the adversity. But I am feeling it's when you're not looking that this transformation comes. So it's almost like you're wanting good things to come in, but you're sort of on this protective mode. I want to pull a chakra card. Now, you've got Tumbaline, so you guys could be having psychic attack energy to that degree. Mayo better comes later. Yeah, I did that. And then I had to put an ice pack on my ankle because it started swelling. And I was like, man, keep on moving forward. I mean, hey, I haven't been accident prone since I was like 10. You need to balance the lower chakras. The lower chakras making you feel a little bit tired. I do feel it's the Aries and Chiron placement. I don't feel you're fighting it. I just feel in general you're fatigued. Now, your 6th house placement is going to help you if you're eating the correct food groups. You're going to get a bit more energized because you've got inner child upside down. So from a creativity perspective, your Jupiter energy, guys, if you're feeling tired, it's because you're going into your emotions. Your emotions will actually self-talk you, there's good and bad talk, right? You need this to protect yourself from yourself. Because you guys are all cool, but the aspects in astrology are affecting your vibration. So use the Tumbaline. If you find you're feeling unmotivated, again, the 6th house is asking you to check your diet. Look at the things that can benefit you, invigorate you, keep your fluid up. Look at things to that degree as well as your routine, and try and balance that energy out. If something isn't working for you, you need to be using your throat chakra. We've got a lot of Gemini energy all month, which is very much throat chakra. Communicate your energy, and you don't have to be narky. This does not work for me. Time, energy, you guys are a bit fixated on that. And I feel it's more because people have put pressure on you. If you're needing a little bit more time to assess, and are you doing this for you? Not for anyone. You, because, I mean, I believe in past lives, but right now you have one, right? You're in this one here. Use it right. It's always after the fact, you kind of live through things and you're in it, and then you're like, if I had only known, and you never do. You never do, right? Stay tuned this month. I will be doing more updates. If I can see anything adverse or I tune in psychically to the energy, I will give you a live update. I'll also be, after I finish the residue energies of the Zodiacs, I will be giving you guys an update. I'll do twin flame updates as well. So if you're wanting a booking, you can go to the link directly below. I'm just going to go have a cuppa and I'll come back again. I do have a client at 10, and then I'll have to take my daughter this morning and then have the client at 10. So I'll probably have time maybe to do one more. Otherwise it will be, You get what you give me 10. I'm having a cuppa. It's 6:30.